It is Maurice F. Martin. I wanted to jump on today for a live. I was on here yesterday, and I told you guys that part of my game plan as I move forward is I'm going to be live a whole lot more often. In part because I feel like there's things that I want to impart into so many of you guys. Please excuse, you might actually hear the kids yelling in the background. That's all a part of the daily grind when you're working from home and you have an office at home. And so you may hear the kids, you may hear my wife and all that. Just take it all in because this is real life. And that's actually why I'm here today live. I want to talk about real life. I want to talk about the things in our lives that hold us back from our greatness. Most of you guys know that I recently wrote a book, Your Butt is Too Big. And the whole concept of that is that sometimes in life, we have a belief system, we have things that we lean on, things that we've built our life on. And some of it, there's cracks in the foundation, right? There's flaws in the structure. In other words, today I want to talk a little bit about how we break free from self doubt. I don't know about you, but when I sit down and I think about my life, when I think about everything that I want to experience, everything that I want to accomplish, when I let myself dream, there are moments when doubts creep in and they actually become bigger than the dreams. I don't know if you've ever been there, and as you guys start to come on, just let me know that you're here. If you're watching on the replay, let me know you're watching on replay. Have you ever had a moment where you sat down, you began to dream, and then some of the dreams turned into nightmares because you couldn't actually imagine accomplishing the things you were trying to dream about? Have you ever tried to envision yourself overcoming the barriers, overcoming the things that were holding you back, but you couldn't see yourself overcoming it? You just felt like, oh, in the end it'll fall apart. In the end it won't end up working out. In the end something will probably go wrong. It's not a fun thing for us to talk about. In fact, we generally don't. We generally don't acknowledge those limitations that we put on ourselves, the doubts and the worries. And so I'm assuming that that is my wife, but I don't know. Do me a favor. Hopefully, in the comments, you see that there is a link that you can click on so that I can see who it is, who is speaking to me. And so think about this for a little bit. I'm not the only person who sometimes thinks about what I want to experience in life, and my own thoughts, my own imagination, my own mindset is the thing that keeps me from feeling like I can ever have it, that I can ever live it, that I can ever experience it. I know that I'm not the only one because I have coaching clients, because I've been a counselor for a while, because I've been a presenter and a speaker for quite a long time at this point. And I don't know how many people I've stood in front of. They had the money, they had the success, they had the past wins and the past victories, and yet they still had these disappointments that lingered, heartbreaks that never went away, frustrations that had grown so large that it kept them from seeing the possibilities of what could be in their future. And so if you're a person who maybe today you're dealing with self-doubt, maybe today you're feeling good, but recently self-doubt has been a thing. You thought about starting that business, you thought about pivoting your whole life, you thought about really starting to work on some of the areas of your life that mattered. But instead of continuing to work on those things, you backed away because you couldn't really see yourself having it work out. If this is something that you need to hear today as you're listening, let me know, because if I got to pivot the whole conversation, I'll pivot the whole conversation. I want to make sure I'm talking to people who need what it is that I have to say. But this has been on my mind today, breaking free from self-doubt, in part because I got my own. If you ever hear me speak, if you ever watch me help people, there's something about me that I always come across like I don't have a lot of self-doubt. I come across very self-assured, very confident, very, I've got it all together. But here's reality. I ain't ever met a person who didn't have doubts. And if they did have doubts, a lot of the people that I knew, they actually had a whole bunch of worries that they learned how to stuff down. So there was doubt. And the doubt was lingering. It was underneath a whole bunch of stuff. And at the wrong times, it popped up. It sprung up. So let's talk about it. Let's say you're a person who experiences some doubts, some worries. The first thing I need you to do is to be honest about the fact that you don't always feel confident, that you don't always feel that you, or here, let me say it a different way. You're confident about where you've been, but you don't have the confidence to overcome what you need to overcome to go to where you need to go. So you've stayed stagnant or stuck or in a situation you're not supposed to be in any longer, only because of the self doubt. That's who I'm trying to talk to right now. I'm not saying you're just sitting around feeling sorry for yourself. I'm saying it's time to move, and you're like, I'm not sure if I'm ready. I'm not sure if I can do this yet. I'm not really sure I can move forward. Have you been there? Have you been there? The first thing that we need to do anytime we get into these very real situations is to ask ourselves, where is the doubt even coming from? Where was it birthed? People don't understand that your doubts, your worries, your feels. Yesterday, I got on a video and I was talking about limiting beliefs. Self doubt and limiting beliefs, they're like hand in hand, okay? My own personal doubts have been birthed from a place in my life. I'm here to tell you that if you have true self-doubt, if you have this part of you that goes, ugh, I'm good, but I don't know if I'm good enough, it came from somewhere. It's the times that I know about that I failed that you don't know about. Man, I was thinking about this the other day. Let me get transparent to help somebody. Do you know how many times in my life I have failed? You couldn't know. You couldn't look at me on a screen and go, "Oh, I've got a pretty good man." I have had some wins. I've had a whole lot of wins. I've had way more losses. I had losses in trying to be an athlete. Every sport that I did other than track and field, I was terrible at. I love sports, man. I love me some sports. Terrible at playing them. Love watching them. People used to say stuff to me when I was growing up. Man, you know what you'd be really good at? You'd be amazing at sales. You know what I wasn't? Great at sales. Every time I ever had a sales job, I was terrible at it. I remember when I used to work in the food industry. I worked for a while for a restaurant. Terrible at it. Terrible. There's some things in my life that I have focused on, worked on, wanted to do better, studied, and still wasn't good. See, the world, when they see you leading, when they see you guiding, when they see you saving, when they see you directing, they see you at your best, but they never got a chance to experience you at your worst. And so some of the people who look up to you, the people who believe in you, they know the standard that you set publicly. They don't know about the losses that you suffered privately. I'm going to say that again. When you are a leader, when you are a public figure, when you are a person who makes a difference, I don't care if we're talking about being mom or being dad or being CEO or being entrepreneur. I don't care what we're talking about, being author, being musician, being actor. When you are a person who has excelled in front of people watching, you have set a standard for them that creates a sense of expectation. They expect for you to be good at what you do because you know that you know that you know that you know that you're good at it, and you display that in front of them. But what they don't know is the failure that happened behind the scenes. They didn't see the losses that took place behind the scenes. They don't know about the times that didn't work out, the businesses you started that crumbled, the ventures that you took part in that failed. They don't know any of that. And I'm not saying that they need to, but it's important to acknowledge that you know. You know every disappointment. You know every bit of grief that you did or did not fully grieve. You know every loss. You know every time that you knew that you knew that you knew that you knew that this was the time everything was going to work out, and then nothing worked. When you let yourself have hope and you let yourself have belief and you let yourself have faith and everything crumbled. You know about that in ways that other people don't. And it's important that if you find yourself today having a feeling of self-doubt or a feeling of not feeling like you're good enough or that you can accomplish enough to get over the hump, you have to acknowledge some of the times in your life when your good enough wasn't good enough. You have to be able to acknowledge those moments and the effects that they had on you so that you can rise above. How long are you going to allow yourself to be defined by your worst moments? It's not that you need to play pretend or that you need to act like those moments didn't happen. It's that you need to learn from those moments. They didn't break you. They didn't destroy you. But if you let them, they will define you. I said if you let them. But Maurice, you just said that they don't have to define me. I'm right. They don't have to define you. But will they? Are there situations in your life that rattled you, that rocked you to your core? And because it hurt so much, because it was so impactful, is it now holding you back from what you have to live in your destiny? There are so many people who are miserable on the inside, but give off this projection of excellence on the outside. I no longer want you to be excellent on the outside, but empty on the inside. Breaking through on the outside, but broken on the inside. There's a point where we have to have consistency to our lives. And it's not just about me accomplishing things that the world sees. It's about me feeling something that only I know is real, that I can cling to in the dark moments. That's real peace. That's real joy. That's real happiness. I need something that I can hold on to on the inside of me that is strong enough to help me outlast the frustrating moments. And the problem is that for many of us, when we've had failures or when we've had setbacks or when we've had disappointments, instead of dealing with them, learning from them, and letting them enrich us, many of us as individuals sweep the disappointments under the rug. We sulk in silence. And we never really learn from those disappointments that we experienced. In the end, you will build things outwardly that will impress man, but you'll never impress yourself because you're still living in the last disappointments that you never healed from. See, there's a difference between wounds and scars. If you look at a wound, you remember what you've been through, but you've already healed from it. It's closed up. There's a finality to that thing. And for everything that you've been through in your life that you healed from, that you moved on from, hey, you learned your lessons, you got some wisdom, you keep on building that thing right, and in the end, you're going to be a winner. But for every one of those stories, we all have like 2 or 3 other times in our lives where we went through some things, we didn't deal with it, we didn't work through it, and even though you want to believe that thing is a scar, it's a wound. If anybody pokes you in that area of your life, your temper erupts. Your sensitivity blows up. Why are you so sensitive in that area? Because it's a wound. And for many of us, our self-doubt and our limiting beliefs are fostered inside of those wounds. You've got to know that it's there. You've got to acknowledge it's there. You've got to heal in that place, and it don't take long once you focus on it. This is not a forever thing. It's a momentary thing. Hey, I got to deal with it. I got to learn from it. I got to understand the power that it's having on me in my current situation. And once I do those things, I can move past them. And it will give me a sense of strength. It will give me a sense of strength, a sense of purpose, a sense of wisdom, that will give me something to hold on to the next time the wind blows real strong. See, storms come in life. Hard times come in life, no matter where you are, who you are, those things are coming. But when you've healed from what you've been through, when you've grown from what you've been through, when you've learned from what you've been through, then the storms don't throw you, they don't toss and turn you, they don't screw things up in your life. You feel them, you ride through them, you say, thank God I made it, and then you go build on the other side of that storm. Sometimes you got to build through the storm, and you'll only have the resolve to do that when you heal from what you've been through. When you close up those wounds. See, the scar makes sure you never lose the lesson because you'll always remember what it is that got you the lesson. I don't know who this is for today. And if it's for nobody, it's for me. And I'm okay with that. But when it comes to breaking free, you have to know where you're bound. I'll say that again. You cannot break free from a thing that is holding you back until you acknowledge you're bound. You cannot find peace and happiness and joy inside of a mental prison that you won't acknowledge. You have to be willing to say there are places in my life where I'm stuck. Places in my life where I'm stagnant. Places in my mentality where I stopped growing, stopped learning, stopped evolving, stopped living, stopped becoming. You have to be willing to acknowledge the parts on the inside of you that have not grown because they're in a prison cell. And it's only when you will acknowledge the truth that the truth can set you free. It's only when you open up your heart and open up your mind to the possibilities of what can happen on the other side of the healing that you'll find the courage to heal. I know some of you guys are just jumping on, and today I just wanted to come live. Do me a favor, whoever is watching right now, go ahead, share this video with somebody who needs it. Make sure that somebody else knows that I am live right now. And here's the deal. I've been talking about breaking free from self-doubt. And what I've been describing for anybody who's jumping on in the midst of this is a simple process. The process is if there's something within my mindset, something within my heart posture, something within me that is holding me back from everything that it is that I need to accomplish in my life, I have to address it. I got to chase it down. I got to figure out where it came from. Where did that brokenness come from? What are the origins of my pain? What are the origins of my doubt? Where did the wound come from? And then once I acknowledge it, I got to heal it. I got to work through it. But Maurice, I've been trying to work through mine for a long time. How? Are you trying to do it on your own? Have you gone to a therapist about it? Have you sat down with a coach? Have you called me so I can have a coaching session with you? Have you taken it to God in prayer? What have you done? It's a real question, and I'm not asking that to doubt that you've done something. But sometimes we say that we've tried to work through a problem, but we haven't put everything on the inside of us into working on it. We've worked on it a little bit. We've worked on it partially. We've worked on it sort of. And so the issue lingers. I want to encourage you today to throw everything that you've got into your recovery, everything that you've got into your happiness, everything that you've got into your peace. Maurice, I'm not in recovery. Sure you are. You're in life recovery. If there's some things in your life that you've lost because of what you've been through, you need to recover them. And you'll only recover what you've lost by facing it, healing from it, growing through it, so that you can move forward. I hope y'all hear me today. I hope somebody who needed that heard it. And if you know somebody who needed the message, do me a favor, share it to them. Send it in a text message. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and tag them in the video. Just let somebody know that this video is here because somebody needs it. For sure, somebody needs it. And then would you guys do me a favor? Would everybody go and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching on Facebook? My new podcast begins next Monday. I'm so excited about that. And so I'm just trying to encourage everybody, go to my YouTube channel, subscribe there. And then the podcast in general is going to be everywhere podcasts are: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. You think about where podcasts are going to be, it's going to be there, and it's going to be on YouTube in video form. So I want to encourage you guys to come find it. But listen, I just wanted to come here. It's right around 20 minutes, so I'm going to jump off. But I just wanted to make sure you guys heard this today. If there is something in your mindset, if you've got doubts, and your doubts are keeping you from destiny, I want to encourage you, face them, confront them. It's the only way you can overcome them. You guys have a great day. My name is Maurice F. Martin.